Konami's newest deck build set, Glorious Victors, has just unveiled the second new archetype for the set, and I have a feeling that this archetype might just end up becoming the new anti-meta strategy for the competitive TCG in 2026-2027. What is that archetype, you may ask? Well, it is known as the Xenovader archetype. Now, if I'm not mistaken, because there's like a little triangle in the name, in the archetype's name. I don't know what that represents. I have no idea what that represents, but I'm pretty sure it has meaning. I don't know what that stands for, but yeah, unfortunately there's really no like way to describe that triangle, but if you guys do know what the triangle represents, you guys can let me know in the comments. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Xenovader. Right here. I don't know what the triangle represents. So if you guys do know, you guys can let me know in the comments, because I have no clue. But what is this archetype? Well, it is an archetype that actually, if you can believe it, focuses on banishing cards. You heard me right. This archetype focuses on banishing cards, meaning that there is no extra deck whatsoever. It is strictly a main deck. That's it. And there are, I believe, 10 cards to talk about in this video. So let's get straight into it. We have Xenovader of Emptiness, Gehenna, and I am gonna butcher the names, so I do apologize in advance. But there's the first monster card. And it is a 1-star Dark Psychic with a measly 100 attack, 1000 defense. And the first and third effects are once per turn. And I believe they all have the same. I believe all of the monsters have the same first effect, same first and second effects, right? Let me see. No, I believe it is the second effect that is the same. Yes, I believe so. Very similar, very similar, but let's get straight to it. So Gehenna's first effect reads, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Second effect, if this card is normal or special summoned, banish face down the top card of your deck. Third effect, during your main phase, you can add up to 2 of your face down banished Xenovader monsters with different names to your hand except this card. Also, you cannot activate cards or effects for the rest of the turn except Xenovader cards, excuse me, or effects. Okay. So to be fair, this archetype again, as I said, focuses on banishing cards from the top of your deck. So in a way, you're basically milling. This actually conjoins perfectly with cards like Grandmaju Deiza, and even the reprints that will be in the set, which include Gizmek, Gizmek the Serpentron Sky Slasher, Eater of Millions, which is a very powerful card, Pot of Desires, and Small World. So those four cards will be in this set. I don't know if Konami's going to be throwing in um Grandmaju, because this with this archetype, this could potentially be the new Grandmaju FTK, which is possible because to be fair, this is more of an anti-meta strategy where the idea is to banish your cards, but thin but thin the deck out by not committing to any normal summons, except for the normal summon of a copy of Grandmaju, which can ultimately just FTK your opponents, which is absolutely insane. Next one is Xenovader of Sky Shoal, which is a 2-star light psychic, 1200 attack, 200 defense. First and third effects once per turn. First effect reads: if you control a Xenovader monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Second effect: if this card is normal or special summon, banish face down the top 2 cards of your deck. Third effect: during your main phase, you can add up to 2 of your face down banished Xenovader spells and traps with different names to your hands, and you cannot activate cards or effects for the rest of the turn except Xenovader cards or effects. Okay, so I believe the second effect of all the monster cards are exactly the same, except for the fact that except that you're banishing cards from the top of your deck based on that monster's level. So because that Gehenna is a 1-star, you banish 1 card. Shoal, because that Shoal is a 2-star, you banish 2 cards. This next one, which is known as Xenovader of Blue Tuonela, because that is a 3-star, you banish 3, and then you go up, and then it just keeps going to level 8, which we'll talk about those in a bit. So, again, you're just banishing cards. The third effect of Shoal basically lets you add 2 of your banished spells and traps, which could potentially give you your floodgates. You can get to your field spell really quickly. It's almost as if you don't need terraforming in your deck, which is insane. Blue Tuonela, 3-star water psychic with 300 attack, 2000 defense. And again, I believe the effects are exactly the same, except that it has a bit of a twist. So the first effect reads: if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. Second effect reads: if this card is normal or special summon, banish face down the top 3 cards of your deck. Third effect: during your main phase, you can special summon 1 of your face down banished level 5 or higher Xenovader monsters, and you cannot activate cards or effects except for Xenovader cards or effects. It's basically DDR on a 3-star body. Not much else to say about that. Xenovader of Scarlet Naraka. It kind of sounds like Naraku from the guy from NXT. Shoutouts to Naraku on an incredible match at the Great American Bash last month. against Tony D. Shoutouts to him. 4-star Fire Psychic, 1700 attack, 400 defense. First effect reads, if your opponent special summons a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Second effect, if this card is normal or special summon, banish face down the top 4 cards of your deck. My point exactly. Because the next monster is level 5, you banish 5 cards. 6, you banish 6. 7, you banish 7. 8-star, you banish 8 cards. Third effect reads, during your opponent's main phase, as a quick effect, you can special summon one of your face down level 5 or higher Xenovader monsters. And you cannot activate cards or effects for the rest of the turn except Xenovader cards or effects. So this could potentially get you to a potential rank 5 summon, which is not too bad, honestly, because the fact that this archetype doesn't have any extra deck monsters is mind blowing. But what's cool about this is that, again, this can potentially lead to this archetype being turned into a brand new variant of a Grand Maju deck. So I can honestly say, that this archetype definitely is going to make its way to the meta at some point. But we'll have to wait and see. But the fact that this card's third effect is yet another DDR, different dimension of reincarnation, is absolutely insane. Next up, we've got Sky Thunder Xenovader Yomi. Which is a 5-star Light Psychic, 1000 attack, 2500 defense. First effect reads, you can reveal this card in your hands, banish it face down. If you do, add one of your face down banished Xenovader cards to your hand except a level 5 monster. Second effect, on summon, normal or special, banish face down the top 5 cards of your deck. Third effect, once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect as a quick effect, you can shuffle one of your face down banished Xenovader monsters with the same attribute into the deck, and if you do, negate the activation. You literally have yourself a monster negate, kind of like a mini imperm, if you will. Not too bad at all. Let's see here. Next up, we've got Burial Summit Xenovader Helheim. Which, if I'm being honest, it kind of, like, looking at this artwork, it kind of, in a matter of speaking, it kind of resembles Wolf Link from the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. It kind of resembles that a little bit. It's kind of cool. 6-star Earth Psychic, which, again, I don't know how this could be an Earth. This should be a Dark. I don't know how this is an Earth, but it is what it is. Not gonna complain. 2400 attack, 1200 defense. First effect, during the main phase, as a quick effect, you can reveal this card in your hand, banish it face down, and if you do, special summon one of your face down banished Xenovader monsters except a level 6 monster. Excuse me. Second effect, on summon, banish face down the top 6 cards of your deck. Third effect, other Xenovader cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target them with card effects. Not gonna lie, that's kind of crazy. I mean, the fact that you could potentially have both Sky Thunder and Burial Summit on board in defense, you could potentially have yourself a barrier where your opponent can't do jack shit, which is insane. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Next up, Mad Tempest, Xenovader, Plutonion. Took me a second to try to pronounce it. 7-star Wind Psychic, 2100 attack, 2800 defense. The first effect is a once per turn that reads as a quick effect. You can reveal this card and one other Xenovader card in your hand, banish both face down, and if you do, draw 2 cards. Second effect, on summon, banish face down the top 7 cards of your deck. Third effect, once per turn, as a quick effect, you can shuffle one of your face down banished Xenovader monsters into the deck. Then you can shuffle one monster your opponent controls with the same attribute into the deck. So imagine this deck going up against a Firewall Dragon based deck. Think about that. Excuse me. Definitely has the potential to break a lot of boards just off of this one card alone, which is insane. Next up, we have Emptiness Devouring Xenovader Jahannam. Again, I apologize if I am butchering the names, but there is that. 8-star Dark Psychic with 3000 attack, 2400 defense, and it has two separate effects. The first one reads, if this card is normal or special summon, banish face down the top 8 cards of your deck. Second effect reads, gains these effects based on the total number of face down banished cards. 10 or more. Cannot be destroyed by battle. 20 or more. Once per turn as a quick effect, you can target one card on the field, destroy it. 30 or more. Once per turn, during your opponent's end phase, you can add one of your face down banished cards to your hand. 40 or more. Skip both players' draw phases. If I'm being completely honest, that last effect, 40 or more, skip both players' draw phases, it's basically Reckless Greed without drawing cards. Actually, I take that back. It's basically Time Seal. And for those who do not know what Time Seal is, it's a normal trap that did see quite a bit of play during Go format, and it basically said that it skips your opponent's next draw phase. So let's say for example you were going first, right? You commit to your plays, your draw plays and all that. If you have Time Seal in hand, you set Time Seal, you set your other back row, you set a monster, you can normal summon, do whatever, and then if your opponent activates Heavy Storm or something like that, you can chain the Time Seal. So now when it's your opponent's turn again, they can't draw any cards whatsoever in their draw phase. This card, Emptiness Devouring, is basically your floodgate. Enough said. Next up, we've got Xenovader Territory Valvals, which is obviously their field spell. And it says activate this card by banishing face down 5 cards from your grave and or the top of your deck. You can only use the first effect once per turn, which reads, during your main phase, you can add one of your face down banished Xenovader cards to your hand except another copy of this card. Second effect reads, Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects during your turn while you control a level 5 or higher Xenovader monster and have no cards in your deck. Think about this. It's literally, as I said, it's a fucking FTK deck that will make its way to the meta. Enough said. Enough said. As long as you constantly continue to banish your cards, you literally have a way to summon Grand Maju and just OTK your opponent in one turn, which is nuts. Now for the final card of the video, and it is known as Xenovader Judgment. Which is a continuous trap, and it has two separate effects. The first one reads, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can target one of them, choose one of your face-down banished Xenovader monsters with the same attribute, and either add it to your hand or special summon it. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot choose the same attribute again with this effect of this card's name, and you cannot activate cards or effects except Xenovader cards and effects. Second effect, once per battle, during damage cal, if your Xenovader monster battles an opponent's monster and you have no cards in your deck, you can make that opponent's monster's attack become 0. Okay, so it's literally as I said. It's literally as as I said, right? Like this can work well with Grand Maju because of the fact that you have a bunch of cards banished. So hypothetically speaking, let's say that you're going second, and you have literally every single card you need to not only out your opponent's back row, but also out your opponent's negate and everything else, right? Let's say that. Once those have been used up and your opponent can't do anything on your turn, all you do is you do your plays, you commit to your special summons, you banish your entire deck, and then normal summon Grand Maju. Grand Maju's effect basically says that it gains 400 attack and defense for each of your banished cards. So, let's say for example you're playing a 60 card deck. Let's say that. So, I have my trusty calculator here. So 400 times 60 cards, that's literally 24,000 attack. So that can basically topple pretty much any of your opponent's monsters and just deal the lethal blow, which is absolutely insane. Think about this. Judgment is basically a floodgate on a whole nother level. The fact that you can just add monsters from your banished pile to your hand is absolutely crazy. Would I say that this archetype is going to be the new meta? 100%. I can honestly say that this archetype, with a little more support, will definitely make its way to the meta, and it is going to destroy the meta like it's nothing. But if you guys think that I am wrong, you guys can always rebuttal in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, if you guys want more card discussions in the future, then then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, be sure to follow me on all my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.